Hey everyone, Peggy here. Welcome to this week's video. This week I have a pine log that I've had laying around for a while and I'm going to make a vase, so stick around and see what happens. Now I don't often turn pine, it is a soft wood, but I'm going to be making a vase out of this and starting out between centers and with the roughing gouge. Going to try to get it trued up a little bit. This is the Carter & Son roughing gouge. As usual, I will link all the tools and products I use in the video description, and of course if you have any questions, leave them down below and I will get back to you. And I had to keep stopping because the tool rest wasn't long enough for kind of one swipe across. This is the standard tool rest that came with the Laguna 1836. And I don't turn a lot of spindle type stuff, so I'm not needing to get a longer tool rest, but I may start looking into it just in case. I do turn vases, but not a lot of true spindle work. Hey, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, or you're not new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It would really help me out. It supports the work I do and allows me to keep making videos every week. Appreciate it. My goal for 2021 was to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is days away, and I have a few hundred left to go. So whatever you can do to help, thanks so much. As of this recording, today I am in Florida for at least another day. A little far off from the cold Maine that I am from, but I will be returning there shortly. Let me know if you traveled anywhere for the holidays. Leave a comment and let me know where you're from and where you traveled. And if so, I hope your travels were uneventful. So after putting it in the chuck in the tenon, I still have some truing up to do, which I'm doing here. As you can see, it's still turning a little bit rough, which is expected. As I mentioned, it's a soft wood, so it's got some, it's prone to tear out unless it's perfectly balanced. So I did stop to sharpen often. And as I mentioned, kept moving the tool rest, but starting to shape it a little bit here. Hey, if you're interested in getting started in wood turning, or you're just getting started in wood turning, I wanted to let you know that I do have a class being released mid-January on Teachable.com. It is linked in the video description, and it is how to get started in wood turning. Everything you need to know to get started in wood turning. These are the things that I wish I knew when I started, and little tips and tricks along the way. So if you're interested, click the link in the description and go ahead and check that out. So you can see the vase starting to take shape a little bit here, and it is pretty much in balance, and the cuts are getting much, much cleaner. You can see the cuts are so much cleaner from that view. And a view from above, continuing to shape the vase and get some clean cuts before using a Forstner bit to start hollowing out the inside of the piece. And as the title and thumbnail mentioned, I'm naming this vase the Steampunk Vase. If you're not familiar with steampunk design, go ahead and Google that and it'll tell you everything you need to know about it. It is a kind of a design that I am interested in. I've always thought it was pretty cool, but really have never done anything related to that or in that design. So this is my first attempt at that design. If you have designed anything in that style, leave a comment and leave a picture if you have one. I'd love to see it. So using a Forstner bit to start the hollowing process. I do not have a steady rest or any type of thing for spindle work to hold it in place. So taking my time here and trying to hollow it out without breaking the tenon. After the Forstner bit, using a variety of tools, starting here with the bowl gouge to continue with the hollowing process. Again, being very careful because not using a steady rest or anything to hold it in place. But as you can probably tell, it is pretty steady. I was pretty happy with how in balance it was, and for as long as it is. Using a skew chisel here, just trying to hog out some material and get the wall thickness. Not going for a very thin vase, but certainly don't want to leave it quite this thick. For sanding, I sanded from 80 grit to 320 grit on this piece. As I mentioned, pine is a softwood and is generally not very interesting grain patterns. I know some people may disagree with me, but compared to walnut and maple, it is a pretty sort of plain Jane type of grain pattern. So my idea for this is, as I mentioned, the design is considered a steampunk design, but I am using the Montana brand spray paints. They're artist spray paints. I'll link them in the video description. But started off with a layer of black, and then I'm using this stencil to spray paint some gear type steampunk design over the top. So the idea is to have the black and the blue, which is two colors, and really have just sort of a muted type steampunk design. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you would have done this differently, or if you want to try this now that you've seen it, etc. So after letting that dry, I am going to be putting a few coats of lacquer on it. This is the Watco brand Lacquer in Gloss. I did sand in between coats. I think I ended up using 4 coats. And this is the almost finished piece. I still have to take off the tenon, but other than the glaring lights, this is the finished piece. It is dry. And I have some beauty shots coming up here at the end. And here they are. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. I also have some PF Woodturning merch available if you're interested. Check that out. And until next week, thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook, and I will see you next time. Peace out.